rolling. Silence, please.
Rachel.
Posso andare?
Hai fatto...
Va bene così?
Ecco, bravo. Non più vicino,
Ok.
Quando vuoi.
Ok. I'm just thinking about the question. Well, first is an introduction. Okay. Richard, you have a very interesting project about a sort of mind control VR. Explain more about this project.
So the moment is the continuation of my work using Neurosky mindwave data to control a narrative movie. So it's not as much VR, but it's a passive interactive film experience that uses, in this case, attention data to control the edits and sound design and narrative interaction with a film.
How it can change the narrative, the storytelling, and the way to narrate the story?
So I've developed a system that puts the user in a two-way effect loop, in that as the viewer is affected, as their neurological data changes, it changes the narrative of the film, and vice versa. How it works is it detects changes in attention, and which trigger the cuts in the film, and at the same time it's recording how much of certain narratives are being viewed, and what rhythm the edit is taking place, and then using that data, the algorithm chooses the next narrative combinations of the film.
So you have various stories. You can create your own story, or you as a director define all the storylines.
So as a director, I've created possibilities for narrative interactions. So from the script writing process, figuring out how different the three narratives of the moment film, how they can recombine, and when they recombine, how new meaning can be made. So taking like teachings from film theory, how new combinations of the edit can be used to create new meaning.
What do you think about this non-linear use of medium as movie, filming, or also we are in a VR conference, so also in VR. How do you think it will evolve in the future?
So I see this kind of a non-linear aspect of storytelling is I can move away from the auteur theory of filmmaking that the director has total control over the viewer's experience and the film as a whole. Obviously, as a director, I still have control over how the film is shot, but there's bringing the viewer or the interactor into that process, so the actual experience doesn't exist until the viewer is part of it. And in the same way as a VR experience, it's the journey through that that's important. With the moment, the film doesn't exist unless somebody puts on the headset and interacts with it. There is no film until that happens. And each time it does happen, it's a completely unique movie that's created. So yeah, I think it's a move away from that auteur concept. And almost it almost takes the ego out of the filmmaking experience. and so for me as a director, watching somebody interact with the film, I'm no longer in control. I've no longer got that that auteur directorship. It's passed on to the viewer, to the interactor.
And based on the viewer and interactor, how is the response of the viewer, of the audience?
So yeah, I've been having some really interesting responses. It's designed to be watched more than once, and people do want to come back and watch it again. We've had people come back twice, 3 times to re-experience the film to see how it changes. And it's also made as something that's perhaps not as prevalent in VR. It's been made to be viewed as a non-interactor. So I always try and screen it with an audience. So you have one person interacting with the film, but the film itself is made to be viewed by more people. So we have auditorium screenings. We screen it also in a very small cinema of up to 11 people. We've built a caravan into a cinema, so it tours. But we've also been screening live scores of the film, where we bring in live musicians who then play the score of the film, almost conducted by the interactor and the interactor's brain data.
So do you think this could be...
Fai la domanda intanto, io giro da
do you
Am
think
I
this-
still looking in there?
Look, look.
So strange.
Strange.
For this point of view of this is a sort of environment and user interaction, because environment, like as the music, interact with the emotions, with the feeling, with the attention, and so this connects to the movie. How do you manage in an authorial way this connection between all these elements?
So there was a lot of discussions in the making of the content of how the film is going to recombine and what the intentions are at the outset, so that when the film recombines, be it the music, be it the filmic combinations, that the meaning was embedded there, and it's on the recombination that certain meanings and certain narrative moments and narrative beats come out. And obviously for every screening you won't get every single narrative beat, that would be impossible, but even as the creator, every time I watch the film being remade, there will be 1 or 2 moments that I've never seen before that reinforce what our intentions were at first. When it comes to the live score with the musicians, I always work with musicians towards the very beginning of the project to create almost like the bass for the world, the feel for the world. And so the musicians really know what the different narrative threads are and all the different narrative beats throughout it. So when it's playing live, they're responding to the live cut, so the rhythms are getting made from the person's brain data. But they can also foresee what narrative combinations are going to be coming up, so they can play for that. They have a lot of fun playing that live score, and it just brings another level to the experience when it's played out.
We can define it like a total theater, because it's an immersive theater experience, because you as an audience, you as a user, a viewer, you are interacting with the actors. In this case, a movie, but can be also it could be also an avatar inside VR, or an actor in reality, or a switch between them. Have you approached also this way of thinking of creative content?
Yeah, I mean, it's the intention is to bring the viewer into a symbiotic relationship with the content. And that content could be anything that elicits an emotional or cognitive response. And it's that two-way effect loop that the viewer is interacting, be it passively, with the content, and then the content is affecting that viewer. And it's a very uncanny experience, because it's very hard to find the words of how that feels, because it's these unconscious movements of the mind that are causing changes in the content, and vice versa. But yeah, it could be used within VR. It could be used to interact with characters, to have characters interact with you in VR as well. And there are actual VR headsets that have inbuilt EEG sensors, so it's very doable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks.
Please.
Thank you.
Yeah.